most of the way through Tuesday the 6th of June. It's 2:30 p.m. and I have to go back to a property I was just at yesterday to get measurements because I went to copy all that information out of a previous listing, and there's no previous listings on file because it hasn't been on the market in more than 10 years. So it doesn't happen very often that we have a property that hasn't been for rent or for sale in the past 10 years, but it does happen. Now I just have to drive all the way back over there to get that information. So I'm not sure what exactly happened today, but curious. These recordings have always been about me talking about my perception and perspective of my reality, and documents my evolution and my achievements and my obstacles and downfalls and failures and all of that stuff that is associated with human existence, and what I do to deal with them so that I can help guide other people through the same thing. I have some very extreme beliefs when it comes to to existence, and I believe 100% that that is my purpose in life. My purpose is to explain to a certain extent, or show, or make available options, possibilities. I will not say or use truth or the right way, because that's up for anybody that wants to determine on their own. But I have answers. I have an explanation. And my explanation covers everything. So, is it right? Again, semantics. It's up for argument, up for interpretation. But it's an equation that takes into account all aspects, even the unseen and, from a human standpoint, the unknown. Talked about it in these recordings, that there are people that originate from the same source that I do, that have entered into this existence for the same reason, for the same purpose. I've always been very careful to keep it vague, very careful to not make any potentially inflammatory statements. And I've never once vocalized it 100% to any one individual. Matter of fact, the closest I have come is I've been pretty open with Stefan. He has the capacity to understand it, to accept it, and comprehend what I'm saying. I haven't really met too many people that I thought able to accurately convey the energy that sometimes needs to be conveyed. So sometimes it's an intent attached to the words and not necessarily the words at face value that you have to pay attention to. So today was a combination of both, because it was words at face value that were descriptive of the situation, coupled with a deeper understanding or a deeper meaning attached to those words, which allowed more of a conveyance from one mind to another. And we had questions, and it's again, it bounced around, it jumped around quite a bit, quite a lot like some of my recordings, because they're talking about multi-dimensional concepts that you can't take one concept too far without explaining a neighboring concept. It's the expansion of an idea that is emanating in multiple different directions at the same time, and you can't have any one aspect grow too far out of sync with everything else, otherwise you lose the context, you lose the structure. So you balance it out. You have to, talk about one aspect because you can only vocalize one at a time. In our very primitive way of communicating through spoken word, it's also very powerful, but it's limited. You can only focus in on one thing at a time. It's very singular. You cannot discuss and talk through and expand on multiple topics simultaneously and have any kind of coherent information be passed along. So again, it bounced around. There was talk about this. Well, then if we talk about this, there's an associated thought or situation that goes kind of along with that, and you have to talk about that. So, but it was the first time I've ever had, because I do this, and it bounces around, and I've gotten comfortable after 6 years of talking to myself with some type of recording device picking up what I'm saying. I've gotten comfortable to how it bounces around, but I've never tried to do that with a live audience before, with one other individual. And it really, I got caught up in it, and I was excited about it, and I was just really wanting to. It was like a pinprick in a dam and this tiny stream of water coming out, but I wanted to unleash all of it. And unfortunately, that's not an option. And but I liked where it went, and even more than what I was allowing to come forth, and some of the things that I was speaking out loud that had the potential to be again, inflammatory or taking out of context or misconstrued. There were a lot of questions, which I liked, and because it shows thought, it shows penetration, it shows that there was a conveyance of the concept that was being picked up on. I mean, he was understanding, he was comprehending, and that was stimulating questions, and it was helping lead the conversation. It was helping lead the topics for expanding on a larger idea, because there were so many different aspects of that, and so many different dimensions of that particular idea. And when it was done and when we left, I dropped him back off at the office, and deserve it, and I desire it. And I left the how and where and who and when open. Desire and deserve. I know what I want. I feel that I've earned it, and I am requesting and expecting it simultaneously. And I've reached out to some people and made some connections with some people that have very strong spiritual beliefs. I'm trying to establish lines of communication with these individuals. But I'm also, it's all symbolic. Reaching out to these individuals to initiate some type of communication to benefit myself and them as well is symbolic, and it's things like the occurrence today that are actual. That is an actual result of that desire. It's an actual result of manifesting what you want. What's odd is he asked me specifically if I have conversations like that with Rhonda, which I don't. And I even told her when we got in the car, he asked me that, and I said, no, she just doesn't have any interest in that. And she's like, no, I have interest in that. And she's like, I've tried to ask you before. And she's like, you always give me like a one-word response and kind of look away, and it didn't register that I do that as habit until she said it. Because she said it, and as soon as she said it, I vividly remember doing that, not only with her, but with anybody that ever asks. But I vividly remember doing it with Dobbs. He had asked me some of those questions, and I gave some very vague, nondescript answers, and basically didn't go any farther than that. And Rhonda said her response to that is always, all right, he doesn't want to talk about it, I'm not going to push it. It clicked today that my doing that is basically drawing a line in the sand. And I'm telling people, without saying any words, with actions, that if you want to see what's on the other side of that line, if you want to see what I see, and I have answers, you need to cross that line. But just in my nature, in the way that I present and do things, I have always come off as unapproachable and very closed off, and that has been a safety feature that's protected me from exposing what I am, who I am, what I know, before I had a chance to really understand it. And that's part of what I've been trying to get past, is trying to get past those blockages. That's what that clearing event that I signed up for a couple weeks ago was all about, was helping me remove some of these blocks that were all safety defaults to get me to this point. And now that I'm here, I don't need these giant walls around me. I don't need these steel doors. I need to open them. I need to create freedom and openness and allow people to come and experience what I have to offer. And it all made sense when she said that. She's like, I've asked you before. And I remember her as I've never really felt that she took a whole lot of initiative or a whole lot of interest in it. This initiative really isn't the right word. A lot of interest, because she was running into my wall. She was hitting that point, that barricade. She made an attempt to open me up, made an attempt to ask, and I, in my normal reactionary way, said, do you really want to go there? And I would be happy to take you there, but do you really want to go there? But in my way of doing it is, it's again, very, I don't want to say offensive, but it's hard to get past that. And everybody that knows me in my life has always said the same thing, that it's just very difficult to enter into those areas with me because I seem so closed off. And to a certain extent I am, and I would be happy to share and open up. And if it wasn't for Dobbs crossing that line today, because I did the same thing. I put up that wall, drew that line in the sand, and said, if you really want to see what's on the other side of that wall, if you really want to cross that line, I'll be happy to show you. But I hope you're ready for what you're going to hear and what you're going to see. And it wasn't like he forced it. He just asked questions. He just continued to show interest, and I continued to open up. And the more he asked questions, the more I opened up, and the more I revealed. And the more I revealed, the better I felt about it, and the more excited I was that somebody was actually listening. And it was a test run. It was practice. There was an exchange, and I feel like I benefited from it. I don't know if he got anything from it. He may have left the thing going, he's lost his mind. He's absolutely crazy. He's going to end up in a mental institution. It's possible. It may happen. Who knows? But the interaction did occur, and I did open up and say things that I've never spoken aloud to another person. And when I talked to Rhonda about it afterwards, I felt almost guilty that she feels that way, that I've shut her down over and over and over again. And then I was like, well, let's take the rest of the day off and let's do this. Let's go sit somewhere and I'll tell you everything. And then it changed to jokingly saying that I would do anything to take the rest of the day off from work and not be in the office or not be involved in this job, which is true. But it gave me a new starting point with her, and it gave me something to look forward to. And I'm looking forward to sharing that now with her, and not just her, but with everybody. Stefan will be here in a couple weeks. Like I said, I've had talks with him that we've kind of gotten into this, and I know it ends up probably being more like a lecture coming from me, but like I said, he seems to comprehend, he grasps it, he asks questions, and you can, and I told this to Dobbs today, you can tell the level of somebody's understanding by the questions that they ask. Now, some people just think that asking questions is a sign of intelligence. And to a certain point, it kind of is, because the questions that you ask reflect how you're thinking about something, how you're seeing something, and then the questions become part of the interaction. My whole life, I have been in job interviews or in lectures or classes, and I almost never, I can't really think of any time that I've ever really asked questions. And they always say, well, if you're not asking questions, you're not understanding, you're not comprehending, you're not contributing to the dynamic, and it's a sign that you just don't get it. But my whole life, I have always entered into every one of those situations with a better understanding of it before it started than probably than anybody that was there. So, and again, it sounds aloof, and Dobbs pointed that out. He's like, you sound conceited. When you say things like that, it sounds egotistical. I'm like, I know, which is why I don't say these things out loud. But it's the truth. It's why when I'm in job interviews, or why when I'm in a class, or why when I'm getting instruction from somebody, I don't ask questions, because everything that you've talked about, I've already comprehended and then some. More often than not, I've researched prior to being in that situation and knew more or just about as much as what you were conveying before you even opened your mouth. That's just the life that I live. I've never had to take notes. I've never had to ask questions to understand, because I always had a deeper understanding of everything. And I sit there sometimes when we're in these meetings or in these conferences or in these classes, and I hear some of the stupid questions. And I was raised with that sentiment, that idea, that concept, that there's no such thing as a stupid question. Wrong. If you fancy yourself an intellectual and you are asking questions just to try and prove that you're thinking about something, and you don't really need the answer or the information, you're just trying to prove to somebody that you thought about something that maybe they didn't think about, that's a stupid fucking question. Stop fucking doing it. And there's people, and there's a handful that I see on a regular basis that I know without a doubt, every time somebody talks about something, every time there's a lecture or a public speaker, they're the ones that are going to start raising their hand and they're going to ask half a dozen questions that have no bearing, no factor into any of it, just to say, well, I thought of this and look at me, I'm smart. You're wrong. But questions like came up today because this is pretty deep subject matter and it's a lot to wrap your head around, especially if you don't spend much time thinking about it. And it intertwines with so many different aspects in life. It intertwines with so many different things that you have to ask questions sometimes to get an understanding. Because I can talk about this, and we're talking about a geometrical design here where all of these little factors have sides that touch each other. And if you're talking about one, like if you're expanding on this is growing, this section's growing. Well, it can't, just like I said before, the sections around it have to grow and evolve as well. So if you're talking about this, whatever topic you're talking about, there's going to be relative topics, there's going to be relative concepts that need to be explained that go hand in hand with that. And if you have the ability to identify what those neighboring concepts are and help guide the way the conveyance is going, because it's really a conveyance back and forth. I'm expressing, you're accepting, understanding, and expressing back. It's the types of questions that you ask that identify your level of understanding. So if you are able to see the connection between this and this and this and this and this and this and all the things that are immediately surrounding it and contribute to it, you define, you show your level of understanding. If you start asking questions about things that are on the opposite side that are still connected, but you have to be really in tune to understand that connection, when you start asking random questions like that, saying, well, all right, well, you said this about this, but how does this affect, something that's seemingly unrelated, but you see the connection because it's all connected. It's just how you view it. Again, I keep going back to that term from Good Will Hunting. It's how you group the terms. There's so many ways of assembling this puzzle and coming up with so many different pictures that to me shows who's ready to be presented with this information. And again, regardless of his belief system and the church that he goes to and what they preach and what he gets from that, and he asked questions that were intelligent and were directly related to what we were talking about and associated topics that are linked to that in the most direct way, and some of them getting a little bit beyond the most direct connection. And it was really good. It was a fantastic exchange. And I told him that. I said, the questions you asked, that reflects how much you, but he asked me specifically, he said, have you ever met anybody that's on the same level as you? And he was asking for my opinion. He was like, in your mind and what you see, have you ever met somebody that was identical, equal to, however you need to capture it in your mind? I was like, no. And he asked me, he's like, does that make you lonely? Are you alone? And I said, yes, it is. That's how I've lived my life. And he's like, well, what about Rhonda? I'm like, well, Rhonda and I's relationship is different. It's founded and it's based on different things, and it's not necessarily that understanding. Because I think having this understanding is a burden. And I'm not saying she can't understand it, because she does have the ability to understand. It's just not her programming in this life to understand that. She's not programmed to see that. She's programmed for something else. She's programmed for compassion. She's programmed for strength. And that balances out what I am, who I am. And I told Dobbs, she is the strongest person I've ever met. And that is what I need for me to continue to move forward. I have such a dynamic push in one direction that it needs to be balanced out with somebody else that keeps me from spiraling out of control. And if she was programmed to think the way that I do, we would be imbalanced. But that doesn't mean she can't, because she's also probably the smartest person that I've met. She has the ability to understand, just to see and understand. She just doesn't feel the need to take it any further than that. She can see and understand and move on and continue to doing what she's doing. And that is her programming. That's how she was wired herself to be who she is and what she is, and to fulfill her purpose. And that purpose is to help me balance out, which is what any couple is, balancing each other out. That's the idea of soulmates, that an individual has the capacity to balance you. And that was what my whole talk was yesterday, was about balance, about understanding the balance and how important that is. So anyway, I need to get inside here and measure this. It's already 3 o'clock. By the time I get back to the office, it's going to be 3:45, and then I still need to input all this information that I have been collecting. So we just shifted from highly philosophical, deeply spiritual understanding of the universe and where that's going to lead humanity and evolution and the future of this planet, to taking length and width measurements of rooms inside of a home. So that's how my life goes, shifting from what is mundane to what is exceptional, and back again.